and let us all do we can to build a better future.
Former shock jock Howard Stern, now friendly with the big establishment, is saying, I'm actually going to probably have to run for president now because of the Roe v. Wade being overturned. So Howard Stern is ripping the Supreme Court decision, striking down Roe v. Wade, saying the ruling might spur him to launch a White House bid. Oh boy, it looks like the Democrats now have their own version of Trump.
What timing to tap into the publicity?
Yeah.
He's using this for publicity the way the Democrats have used Roe v. Wade forever to fundraise.
And
he's a whore, just like the Democrats. Go on.
Well, not to mention, this is the same Howard Stern, shock jock, who's had adult performers on his show. He said so many controversial things before. Hey, vote blue no matter who. If this is your champion, so be it. So Howard Stern,
Howard sellout.
Yeah, so the show marks Stern's first public comments about Friday's Supreme Court decision, which overturned the 1973 landmark ruling that had provided a constitutional right to abortion. Again, the Democrats could have codified it at any point in time. Stern, who's long railed against the United States Electoral College system, said the conservative Supreme Court Justices Amy Coney Barrett, Brett Kavanaugh, and Neil Gorsuch, these appointed judges by former President Trump, were appointed by a president who lost the popular vote by 3 million votes. This is where we get into trouble. Well, listen, we don't live in a democracy, Howard Stern. We don't even live in a real republic. We live in an oligarchy where the top 1% control everything, control both parties, and sadly, this is something you're going to have to deal with, and everyone's going to have to come to terms with. Popular vote doesn't count here in the United States. In other democracies, it does. We have a thing called the Electoral College, and you would think that the Democratic Party, being oh so democratic, would want to get rid of the Electoral College. Nope.
No.
So, Electoral College will supersede popular vote. So if you're running for president, factor that in your head. Okay, so going on. If you were to run for office, a 68-year-old radio professional...
Wait, 68 now?
Yeah.
Jesus, that's not his hair. He's got to be wearing a wig.
Maybe. I don't know. We'll see. I'm going to do the very simple thing that'll set the country straight. One vote, one person, no more Electoral College. I'm getting rid of it. Okay, buddy. You keep on going for it. Look, I agree with you, but man, oh man, are you going to be disappointed, especially running the Democratic Party. Like any other person running in the Democratic Party, any actor or anyone else, any progressive, you're going to get sold out and the establishment will keep on chugging along. The problem with most presidents is they have too big of an agenda. The only agenda I would have is to make the country fair again. Oh, neoliberal fair. So there we go. Stern slammed Justice Clarence Thomas, who joined the 6-3 majority decision, describing him as sitting there like Darth Vader, dormant and waiting for other kooks to join the Supreme Court. Another quote from Howard Stern. I'll give you a couple examples of why this is so horrible, Stern said. As he mentioned, every day, women who go to the doctor and they find out that the baby has horrible birth defects. Look, yes, this is terrible, okay? But let's look at the Democrats, too. They are responsible. Under the Carter administration, under the Clinton administration, under Obama's administration, they could have codified Roe v. Wade. What's stopping the Democrats from actually doing something to protect women's right for reproductive health in this country? There's nothing really stopping them. They have the Biden-Harris administration. You would think Biden, through executive order or through his own presidential power, he would do that. But no, his excuse is he can't do anything, or he'd probably blame it on the parliamentarian, or he'll let the process play out. But remember, this is the same Democratic Party that doesn't want to do anything about the filibuster. Yes, we know that the GOP is filled with scumbags, but the Democrats ain't saints either, and you ain't going to change it, because it's just as Democrats tried to do it, and you ain't got jack. And so many people have called out the Democratic Party, and even you yourself, because you're a hypocrite, Stern. So there you go. So let's actually pull up this video. I want to pull up this video right now because 5 months ago on this show, we played this video where Tucker Carlson had Jimmy Dore on the show, and they were calling out Howard Stern for being a hypocrite and really, kind of being a scumbag kind of guy for saying people who have been vaccinated should be allowed to die.
Let me add something before you run the video.
Go ahead.
I don't recall when Howard Stern had Hillary Clinton on his show, and he did, asking her about codifying Roe v. Wade as part of her platform. We have a shock jock here in Chicago named Mancal Mueller, who trotted himself out
the
dime store version of Howard Stern, who trotted himself out 6 or 7 months ago and did a media blitz talking about how he was going to run for governor in Illinois. I have not heard from him since that little media junket that he did, much in the way that Howard Stern is using a moment to capitalize on. He's not going to run for president. Okay, it's like this conversation about him running for president will probably disappear in about a week or two. But it's a moment he can seize to put himself in the spotlight, the way the Democrats do all the time. When the big bad Republicans threatened this to fundraise, and now that they didn't do anything about it, and the big bad Republicans have done something, they're still impotent and fundraising furthermore. So,
by the way, before we play the video, I see somebody in the chat, the bad seed, man cow, notorious. Yeah, okay. So here's the thing a lot about these shock jocks. They like to say things, make themselves look big. Now the thing is, Howard Stern, of all the radio shock jocks, the shock jocks. You know, he's the one that kind of landed on top of the mountain, but he became a corporate sellout. Well,
he also landed on top of them. A lot of people, look, I used to listen to Stern. I used to enjoy him back before he sold out.
Yeah.
But Stern stole his whole routine from two shock jocks here in Chicago, Steve Dahl and Gary Meyer.
Really?
When they were starting up on radio, Steve Dahl used to go on the air and say, this guy in New York, Howard Stern, Howard, was having tapes sent to him of Steve Dahl's early broadcast. Howard kind of stole the shtick, remolded it in his own image, but a lot of people who follow shock jock history and bios and stuff are like, yeah, Howard Stern got his bit and started breaking barriers based on what Steve Dahl was doing here in Chicago. So not even Howard Stern is authentic and like
wow,
where his whole
something new.
Routine got from. Yeah, you can look that up online.
I learned something. Who says you can't learn anything here at Heartlands Media? And number two, because I used to talk to Daniel about the shock jock wars, which is Howard Stern versus Opie and Anthony. Mancow, whatever. Mancow is a little fish. All right, it still is. Yeah. But anyways, I find this so hilarious.
They all rob each other, and then they jump into the spotlight.
Yeah, jump into the spotlight.
Well, they could have a news story can propel them forward to get some brief, momentary 15 minutes of attention until the next moment comes up. So
yeah. So I want to pull this video up now. We played this video 5 months ago. Where Tucker Carlson and Jimmy Dore were calling out Howard Stern for it's kind of rude statement about people who don't want to get vaccinated. Now, look, I understand if people don't want to get vaccinated. I get it. Look, we're still in this pandemic. Whatever you do, anyone that's watching, please be safe. That's all I'm going to ask, all right? However you feel, be safe and treat each other safely too, okay? Because we're not out of the woods yet with this dumb BS that we're dealing with. We got inflation. Everyone, let's all look after each other. That's all I'm going to say on this. Whatever keeps you safe and your family safe and your loved ones safe, keep on doing it. Be safe about it. But let's pull up this video where Tucker Carlson and Chicago's very own Jimmy Dore rightfully call out Howard Stern. Let's play it.
Howard Stern, by any measure, is one of the great radio hosts of all time. He makes a huge amount of money for doing what he does, but there's a reason for it. He was incredibly brave and creative. Vulgar, yes, but truly talented, but above all, courageous. Stern defended free speech. He was fired for it repeatedly. He used his platform to fight government censorship, to give the finger to the man. There was a lot that was impressive about Howard Stern, for sure, and that bravery allowed him to be creative, but not anymore. Maybe it was the coronavirus that broke him. Maybe it was just hormonal changes with the middle age. He's now a coward, and his broadcast is about cowardice, amplifying his fears about corona over the air and more precisely attacking anybody else who's decided to live life as a free person.
When are we going to stop putting up with the idiots in this country and just say it's mandatory to get vaccinated? F them, their freedom. I want my freedom to live. I want to get out of the house already. I want to go next door and play chess. I want to go take some pictures. This is bull.
So this is a guy who's had every vax available, and he's still hiding in his basement because the vaccine works so well that he can't go out. Right. So when other people disagree, when Aaron Rodgers, for example, the athlete, decided to make his own medical decisions about the vaccine, Howard Stern was enraged. He said Rodgers should be kicked out of the NFL. Socializing is now off limits to Howard Stern. He scolded Oprah because she had the audacity to host, brace yourselves, a Christmas party.
And I'm really amazed by Oprah. I really am. I mean, on her Instagram, she likes to take you into her house, where every night of Christmas
that's what he's
is a
turned
big
into.
Party, like a celebration, and she flies in a different chef. And I'm,
the next thing he's going to say is, "Get off my lawn."
It's getting very confusing to me. I see what's going on with COVID. Everyone's got it. Everyone's sick. People have 104 fever. I don't want to have 104 fever. I don't want to get sick. So I'm hiding. But everyone else is out running around. I see Oprah's she's having dinner parties.
He always was a germaphobe, though.
Yeah, let's pause it here. Let's pause it here. Look, I understand about people being. Look, phobia is a very real thing, but look, it can't. There was coming to a point, especially 5 months ago, and even later on, everyone was seeing what was wrong with the rules that the government was putting on. Everyone needs to be quarantined. I mean, through quarantine, many small business owners lost everything. People got evicted from their homes and apartments. The Democrats didn't do jack. And this guy wants to run for president, but yet here he is complaining about celebrities and people going out trying to live their lives as best as possible. Look.
Kid, he wants to run for president as much as Donald Trump wanted to run for president.
Donald Trump wanted. Here's the twisty twist on this, though.
Yeah.
Trump running in 2016, this is something that no diehard Republican supporter will ever really acknowledge.
Of course, they would never.
He wanted a TV show.
That's all it was
He didn't
about.
expect it to win. He was the dog that caught the car.
He didn't know what to. He had to like see it through with chewing up the car. That's what it was.
Yeah.
That was all a bid to like launch his Trump News Network or whatever it was.
Yeah.
And, you know, the same thing with Stern. It's like he doesn't really want to be president, but he's posturing to get the attention now. Look, the issues surrounding Roe v. Wade are very, very important.
Yes, absolutely.
Sadly, our Democratic leadership has done nothing about it. They fundraise off of it without any action. They give celebrities like Howard Stern the opportunity to get attention for themselves, which will result in absolutely no further action whatsoever. I mean, it's just another day in the circus.
One other thing here, too, before we play the rest of the video, because I want to hear Jimmy Dore speak out. Marvin Vargas says, loved Trump when he came on the Stern Show, because that's something people don't know. Good old Trumpy Trump, if he was so bad, Howard Stern should have known that. Why would Stern let Trump on his show? Why? Good ratings, everyone.
And you can find that clip, I believe, on YouTube where he's in bed with Melania. And he has Melania come on the phone. And, you know, she's purring like the little sex kitten that she was. It's hilarious when you look back on people just completely block out what Trump was all about because he represented their Republican values all of a sudden.
Yeah.
You know, meanwhile, you got him and the first lady of the night in the White House. It is what it is.
That's not family friendly, Jerry. Come on.
Sorry,
Are you acting like a shock jock now?
I'm not a family friendly guy. I've been told.
This Jerry's now our shock jock. Don't worry, I'll be there right there with you. It'll be fun.
The only thing is Anna can't cancel me again now for my irreverent humor.
High Five Mountain, where was honor? Chicago Corner got blocked by Anna Banana Kasparian. So there we go. But you can check out Chicago Corner every Tuesday and Friday at 7:30 p.m. Central Standard Time. Chicago Corner. There we go. Let's play the rest of the video.
The guy was always a narcissist. Obviously, the show was about himself. But again, he had a spirit. He had bravery. But he's declined into this kind of quivering mass of neuroses and hatred. Hatred that has so overtaken him that he's decided that anyone who doesn't follow his commands should just go die. Listen.
If it was up to me, anyone unvaccinated would not be admitted to a hospital. At this point, they've been given plenty of opportunity to get the vaccine. They don't trust our government. They think that there's some conspiracy to turn them into a magnet or something like this. Now, if you don't get it, in my America, all hospitals would be closed to you. You're going to go home and die.
Close to people anyways, man.
But in his America,
does
that sound suspiciously like
you
Trump's?
don't get health care
in my
and you should
America.
die. So the bigger
It's a
question is,
special
how did
America
this
just
brave,
for him.
creative guy become a tool, a craven tool of the powerful wishing death on his own listeners? There's something sad about this, really sad. Jimmy Dore has watched it happen.
You know, Republicans
He's the
are
host
that
of the
way.
Jimmy Dore Show, and we're happy to
what
have
has
him
Tucker got to
come
talk
on
about?
tonight. So, Jimmy, I'm not even attacking Howard Stern, whom I
He's
respect
no
for his
innocent.
talents, which are real.
Here's Jimmy, though.
But what is
Finally,
this
Jimmy.
that we're seeing?
We got our guy.
I don't know. Is there anything creepier than a guy who looks like a hippie but talks like a Fed? Not for my money.
Talks like a what?
Talks like a Fed.
That's good.
Can't we all?
I thought he said something else.
I mean, Howard
on,
Stern. Can't we?
Jerry.
Doesn't
My
anybody
hearing's-
care about Howard Stern anymore? He's just a poor guy who wants to go outside and feel the breeze in his wig. That's all he wants to feel.
I told you he wears
what is
a wig.
Weird to me is now he went from being a bad boy to becoming Hillary Clinton's buddy. How do you do that? He's about as dangerous as a pair of plastic scissors. So what happened is the establishment gave him $400 million, and now he's the establishment. And so now instead of standing up to the oligarchy and standing up to the government and standing up to authoritarianism, now he's preaching it. And he's like a bully to get you to do things the government wants you to do. It's the opposite of freedom. It's the opposite of what comedy is supposed to be. You're supposed to use comedy to undermine the status quo and poke holes in it and make fun of it. He's now using his platform to prop up the status quo, authoritarianism. And by the way, he's doing exactly what the oligarchy wants him to do, which is blame your neighbor. Right? He's not going to blame. Why are the hospitals so clogged? By the way, you don't want the hospital to get clogged because the next time he needs another chin liposuction, he won't be able to get in. But the point is, we have been cutting hospital beds. In New York State alone, they cut 30,000 hospital beds in the last 20 years. So we went from 1.5 million hospital beds down to 925,000 hospital beds since 1975. You know why there aren't enough ICU beds? Because it's not profitable to the private equity firms that administer our hospital emergency rooms now. People don't know this. In 2018, I just covered it on my show, there was a huge outbreak of the flu, and guess what? Every hospital in every state was overrun, and they were treating people in tents for the flu. So this idea that the COVID patient is the person you should be angry at, instead of the oligarchs who have been getting rid of hospital beds and ICU beds because they're not profitable, of course that's what Howard Stern does now, because he is the status quo. There's no point to him anymore. He turned in, and so instead, if you live long enough, as a hero, you're going to, I guess, turn into Don Imus, because that is what happened to Howard Stern. And it is sad to watch.
I don't even know what to say. Go Jimmy Dore. He looks like a hippie. Right. He talks like a Fed. That was so great. It's great to see you. Thank you for that. It's perfect.
Thank you.
Perfect.
And look, not to put too much pressure on the point, but Jimmy 2024, what a sight it would be.
I was about to say, if Jimmy decides, if it's Dore 2024, I hope Howard does.
Oh, what a sight.
Stick to running.
Oh, what a sight that would be.
Wouldn't that would be a race to watch.
That would be a sight to see. So, here's the thing. I think it's important we give our final notes on this story, but here's the thing. We do know that Stern is making this statement. Now, of course, to Jerry's point, which he's absolutely correct on, this is probably a way to put his name in the papers, get attention on social media. Yeah. But you know what's not funny? Is the fact that the Democrats, while they probably would humor idea of Stern running, they're still humoring other ideas too, especially one candidate in particular that got us in this mess in the first place. Faze, just show the article and then show the picture. I'm not going to read it, but there we go.
No.
Oh,
no.
Yes. From CNN.
No.
The whispers of a Hillary Clinton 2024. Hey, folks, we did it. Come full circle right back to this.
She'll be a 3-time loser. Look, I said that they were floating this trial balloon months ago.
Yep.
Okay. When she came out and was pimping her master class that you could pay for to listen to the speech she would have given had she won the election that she was going to give at the inauguration, that was getting eyes on her to make sure that she was still in the news cycle. And this doesn't surprise me at all. She's a narcissist to the end. Her Pied Piper strategy and Obama's failed leadership is what got us Donald Trump, and they're just gonna do it again. They're just gonna fucking do it again. I'll fucking do it again.
Like do it again. So, yeah, Clinton running again 2024. See, this is the madness and stupidity that we're all gonna have to be dealing with, which is why I tell people, don't vote Democrat. I sure as hell won't vote Republican. Break away from the two-party system. Support worker co-ops. Support good ballot initiatives. If you are going to vote, support ballot initiatives, support worker co-ops, help build movements and organizations that break away from the two-party system. Vote for third-party or independent candidates, because we have to break away from a system that doesn't care about us. And Howard Stern running as a Democrat candidate, well, good luck. We'll see how quickly he falls in line with the Democratic establishment. I don't believe a single word that he's saying. If he does run, great. It'll make the Democratic primary far more entertaining. If Old Man Joe and whoever else wants to throw their hat in the ring, it'll make it entertaining. But I won't waste my time with the DNC or RNC, and neither should any of you. And Tucker Carlson and Jimmy Dore, specifically Jimmy Dore in particular, was right in calling out the hypocrisy of Howard Stern, because 5 months ago, that's what Howard Stern was saying about people who didn't get vaccinated. But the real truth is, in the United States, we don't have Medicare for all. We don't have student debt forgiveness. And let's circle right back to Medicare for all. The richest country in the world, we don't have Medicare for all. And one bad day, you get struck with an ailment, an accident, you can lose everything. We have a thing called medical bankruptcy. It's a leading cause of homelessness. If we had Medicare for all like the rest of the world does, we wouldn't have that situation. So, way to show and signal the Democratic establishment 5 months ago and even now that, hey, you're all on board with privatized healthcare. You're all on board with saying, get out. Look, I don't know how we're going to get out of this pandemic because we're still in it. I don't know how we're going to somehow walk out of this nightmare, but the one thing we cannot do is trust the jag-off politicians in Washington, D.C. Don't trust the DNC. Don't trust the RNC. They don't like you. They don't think about you. They don't respect you. And if you paid money for that master class, you're the biggest idiot I have ever seen, and I don't even want to meet you. And then number 2, if you vote Democrat or Republican, well, you're a sucker, and to our audience, enlighten people to break away from it. Do it politely, though. Jerry, any other final words?
You know, it will be interesting if Hillary decides to attempt to be a 3-time loser. It's going to be quite interesting watching the catfight between her and Kamala Harris. Because keep in mind, Kamala Harris's campaign was staffed by former Clinton.
Well, Kamala Harris's campaign went bankrupt and belly up.
Right, well, because she's lazy and she didn't want to do the work to get the delegates to run, okay? Yeah. But her campaign was staffed by Hillary Clinton, former Hillary Clinton staffers, who I'm sure Hillary Clinton will recall. And I don't think Kamala's going to take that sitting down. So whichever of them end up emerging to be the presumptive loser of the next Democratic ticket, I would suggest whichever one comes out on top, they should tap into Howard Stern as their running mate.
There we go. That'd be fun.
Kill all the birds with one stone.
There we go, folks. All right, with that being said, Jimmy Dore was right. Pass the word along. Jimmy Dore was right.
Jimmy Dore's always right.
Jimmy Dore was right. There we go. He'll be in Chicago very soon in July.
Yes.
We're looking forward to that.
It's going to be a good show.
Right.